Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of What's the Day. Now, this day today is a little lazy of sorts, gives you an idea of you should take your rest where you're supposed to. It is public sleeping day this day on February 28th. And I'm here joined with Mr. Bob Lement, and he's in his virtual form, as you can see. Um, so
Maybe this is my real form. Maybe this is really me.
Well, I did do my background checks, but yeah, I did see your face. But I appreciate the fact that you're taking this new format in which, I mean, I've never done this. So you've been doing started off. So you're an online radio host for the past 25 years, as far as I know. Before I get into
Yeah,
details of the day itself, let's just start by letting people know what you do.
sure. So I'm a co-host of Static Radio, and we are an online radio show that started way back in 1999, and then obviously podcasting happened around 2004, and we've been doing that ever since. And a little of this, a little of that throughout the years, but yeah, that's basically it.
Great. So before I get into everything, the first question that I asked to all of my guests, did you ever know about Public Sleeping Day before I asked you?
No, I was I was dumbfounded. I was like, what the heck, National Sleeping Day? I uh I was shocked, to be honest with you. I was like, what the heck is this thing? And and so then yeah, I went to the website and I'm like, well, this is quite dense. This is more of a subject than I thought. You'd think it would just be like one of those one pager things that they're like, today's sleeping day, everybody take a nap. But
So
they've got all
I-
kinds of stuff to it.
yeah, so even when I checked through it, I was surprised to find out that it's been on since 2011. The
Mhm.
oldest information that I could found was from 2011, and then people had just been propagating the idea that you should be sleeping somewhere in the open, and then just take a nap, a power nap, and then there were four different types of nap: the brainiac nap and the hangover nap. And then I was like, okay, there are things like these as well. When was the last time you had a nap outside? Ever done that?
I will tell you, I rarely have. I was afraid to sleep in public, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
and I still am. I still have some hesitation. So I was trying to think of this because I thought you might ask this question. I thought, well, maybe he'll ask me about if I nap in public, I don't ever nap in public. And the last time I can remember falling asleep in public was I was on a trip to Europe and I was in Ireland and I was on this bus tour of Ireland and I fell asleep on the bus during the
I
tour.
mean, bus naps are always a refreshing ones.
Yeah.
On naps on buses like quite a few times. Never in
Oh,
school
really? Mm.
when you were a kid or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we used to have nap time at school when I was really little, but I never ever fell asleep. I didn't want to fall asleep. It seemed like everybody who fell asleep at some point in time would get assaulted. And so I
Yes,
was
yes,
afraid that I was going to get somebody's either going to throw something at you or jump on you or hit you or, it always seemed like whenever somebody did take a nap during that nap time, at some point in the year, someone else would assault them while they were sleeping. And then that carried through. I mean, in college, right? So in college, everybody sleeps everywhere, right? Because it's college, right? And it was not uncommon to go to the library and find a nice quiet spot and for people to just kind of sack out.
yes.
And but I never did. I never did. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fall asleep in the library. Again, I was always worried, all the way back from my childhood, I guess. I was, traumatized that somebody was either going to draw a mustache on me or, you know, uh,
Give those in parties and
yeah,
parties,
yeah, Sharpie
remember.
or take my bag. I don't know. And so I never have been much of one. And when I see this and it says it's safe,
Hmm.
it says there's a low incident rate of people actually getting, you know, uh, uh messed with while they're sleeping in public. But yeah. I was,
People are quite innocent when they're sleeping in the open. So unless and until you're a freak, you don't want to mess with somebody looking so dull and probably take in the middle of the day.
maybe maybe I don't look so innocent. That's why I was always worried about that. Maybe I look like I need to
No, no, no,
be.
no. I mean, you're looking so innocent. I mean,
That's why I'm a cartoon cat, so nobody will bother. Oh, it's so cute. What a cute cat. Let him sleep. No, that is interesting. I don't even sleep on planes. Like whenever there's the plane trip, I can never sleep on a plane.
the longest, what's the longest flight you've taken? Can't be.
Uh, oh, probably when I went to Europe. So that was what, an 8 hour flight,
Yeah, you could.
thereabouts. Yeah, I could have fallen asleep, but and that was overnight. So I flew to London from New York. Is that 5 hours? I can't remember. Anyway, it's somewhere over 5 hours, and the sun. Uh, we left when the sun went down, and it was coming up when we got over
Yeah.
across the Atlantic. So it really wasn't dark for very long. Um, but I didn't go to sleep. No, couldn't do it.
For me personally, the last I remember I had a good nap out in the open was one of the beaches in Goa. So it was like
Mm.
somewhere in during dusk, the sun was setting on the horizon and the wind was coming in. It was pretty good.
Oh.
And yeah, I was there with friends. So they were on the bench on the side, and I was on one of those benches where you just lounge out and then you just. I don't even remember falling asleep. I woke up and the next thing I remember was asking my friend, "How long has it been since I've been asleep?" He said, "It's like more than an hour." And I like, "How did you let me sleep in this amazing place?"
Well, maybe he put something in your drink.
Ah.
He's like, I'm tired of listening to whatever you're talking about. So here, have this drink, whatever it was, and then I'll knock him out for an hour, and I'll get some peace and quiet. Can read my book.
He was not much of a reader though, but
Oh, okay.
probably checking out the girls around, so he didn't want me to disturb him. So yeah,
Ah, see, I was going to ask you if you had somebody with you because I think it would be easier
yeah, it does
to
scare me.
um
It does
to
scare me.
fall asleep with
Have
somebody with
somebody-
you. Yeah.
have someone to hang around with. So yeah,
Otherwise, I mean, you feel very vulnerable, wouldn't you
yeah,
think?
yeah, yeah, it does, it does. But then the very idea, it's like you take a rest. If not public spaces, sometimes people have a nap in office as well, right? Have a 10-minute, 20-minute power nap and gives them the energy to go throughout the day.
I've fell asleep at work once, and I was very ill, and at the time I was in an office that was we had like a conference room in between two offices with the person I was working with closely, and we had a couch, and I was really sick one day. I laid down on the couch and I conked out for probably about 2 hours,
Oh,
but it was in a conference room, you know what I mean? So it's not like, just it wasn't in the hallway where people were walking by or anything.
then try to judge you that you're sleeping out.
Yeah, they'll be like, what, are we paying him? The but yeah, that was probably the only work one that I can remember. And that it's been a while ago. I mean, it's probably been a good 15 years ago at this point. But I was really, really ill. So that was the other part. I don't even know why I was there.
Have you ever
The
found
world
any?
has changed now with
Yeah, yeah.
the pandemic. They don't want you to come into work anymore when you don't feel well. So
So, did you have an office for your radio and podcasts?
yeah. So I have an office and everything, but I've never fallen asleep in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Ever
but
caught someone sleeping?
what's that?
Ever caught someone sleeping?
Mm, I don't think so.
You don't want to snitch on your colleagues.
Okay. Um, I'll tell you. Here's a funny story. I was in a meeting
Mhm.
with a couple different people, and we were going over some numbers, real fascinating business.
Mhm.
And this lady literally fell asleep next to me who was in the meeting while
Yeah.
we were going over budget numbers. I mean, like sitting right next to me, I look over and she's kind of slumped down,
Mhm.
and her breathing is a bit more uh, changed, when you sleep, your breathing changes. And I'm like, but nobody said anything.
Mhm.
Nobody else said anything. And we just let her sleep and we did the meeting. And then she kind of woke up at the end. Nobody said a word. I was like, this is the most bizarre thing. I've never had a person fall asleep in a meeting with me before, but apparently it was not a problem.
No,
I wasn't the supervisor or anything, so I wasn't, I wasn't my place to say anything. But
yeah,
that's weird.
you've got this background of the Stonehenge and the other place. I don't know which one is it. I can't.
Hmm.
On your
Oh
background.
yeah, my pictures. I didn't fall asleep at Stonehenge. I was there. I took that picture and did the Stonehenge tour when I was over in Europe. And if I put my head over here, you can't see any people, but there's some people right there behind my head. But anyway, I did not. We even have to take a bus to Stonehenge, and I didn't fall asleep, even though on that same trip I did fall asleep when I was in Ireland on the bus. I think it was jet lag, though. Be honest with you. And then the other picture is of aliens. If you can see that one,
Okay, I can't.
and that's from Roswell, New Mexico.
Uh,
I was at the Roswell UFO Museum, and that's a little diorama or whatever you want to say, a life size diorama they have in the building. So
mhm.
yeah, but have you fallen asleep at your job, or is it
uh,
acceptable?
and I mean, there are, I mean, during my previous job, when I used to work shifts, obviously I was not working continuously on the field. So
Mm-hmm.
we had our spells, like I used to sneak in like 5, 10 minutes somewhere in between.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, so I had an offshore job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was out on the deck of the ship, doing a few things, and then
Mm-hmm.
I knew that there was nothing coming up for the next hour. So I would tell somebody to just wake me up in the next 10 minutes. I just need to take the shut eye, or else the next 6 hours won't go as they should be going. So
So
never
you pulled a accomplice into your sleeping. You're like, hey, wait, what if they fell asleep? Did you ever worry about that?
They used to be busy doing something, so I was assured that they would not be
Oh, they
able
were actually working and you were sleeping.
to.
I'm
I
sure
mean,
that
even if you look at
went
the
over well during review time.
uh,
You know what? He's sleeping while I'm actually doing all the work, just so you know.
uh, so even research suggests, I've been reading a few places, when you do an 8 hour shift, especially in offices, where you're doing services kind of jobs, the average worker who does an 8 hour shift is productive for like at max 2.5 to 3 hours a day. I don't know what to
What?
do with the rest of the hours, but yeah, that is the productivity that researchers have suggested, that, yeah, that's the maximum productivity that you can get out of the average person. So obviously,
I'm working too hard. Then I figure I get about 5 hours out of an 8 hour day on my for me personally. But that means I need to cut back
I mean, work,
now.
yeah.
Now, I did work with a guy who was from China. So he was from mainland China, and he was working in the same office as me. And he would take a nap every day. Every day after lunch, he would go into his cubicle and he would either lean back or put his head down on the desk, and he would sleep for about 20 minutes every day.
Yeah.
And I always found that interesting. And then, in the United States, that's not common, right? And so everybody would be like, I'm trying to remember what he called it. He Americanized his name to be at the when he was here, but uh, I think he called himself Mike, which his name wasn't Mike, but Anyway, like, what's Mike doing? I go, oh, Mike's taking his nap after lunch. And everybody like, what? And I go, don't bother him. He needs it. Because I mean, he was obviously, he was a productive guy. He was actually a doctoral student. And I mean, it wasn't like you where you're getting somebody else to do your work while you're sleeping. I'm just joking. He was no, he had, was doing a program, and so he would just take his nap after lunch, and that was just the way it was. But that was kind of, I was very young at the time when I witnessed that, and it was just a fascinating kind of thing because we don't typically in the US people don't take naps at work or even worry about that kind of stuff. It looks, if you do, you're frowned upon, right? They're looked down upon you. But as you mentioned,
Mhm.
you're doing a job that takes a certain amount of
Yeah.
mental acuity, and it helps you,
Yeah.
right? And
Even
it helps you get through the day.
yes. So the power nap, since you mentioned this 20-minute nap that Mike was doing, uh, it's not an uncommon thing in India itself. People do in certain cities. Certain cities are actually famous for people shutting shop in the afternoon for like 1 or 2 hours, and
Hmm.
happens across the city. So it's not like you go out and you're looking for something. You will find it for sure, but most of the shops will be closed for the owners taking their afternoon siesta for like one
Hmm.
or 2 hours, or sometimes even 20 minutes. And even as experts would say, the power nap does get you through the day, like a 20
Hmm.
minute nap sometime in the 2 to 5 period in the afternoon. It
Hmm.
does help. It's much better than coffee, I would say.
Yeah, I think in the US we just like to take substances mostly to get through the day. When I was over in Europe, I went to France, and they don't even get up for breakfast. Breakfast didn't happen until like 10 o'clock or something, which is unusual for me.
Mhm.
And I remember when we were there, I'm like, we'd go out at about 8 or 8:30, and everything was closed. There was no place to get breakfast. I was like, and then they get up later, and then everything was later, right? So lunch was later, dinner was later,
The
everything was
French
later.
have their own idea of time.
Yeah, yeah, and then nothing. I'm like, even the places where you get pastries and stuff weren't even open at 8:30 in the morning. I was like, what is up with this? They
I've
don't
been
open till
there.
10.
Yes.
What? I wanted to get a pastry, and it's like, oh, we don't open till 10. I'm like, well, I'm gonna be going to lunch after that. So, but yeah, it's just different, attitudes towards sleeping, and I think that now that you've kind of hit me to this National Public Sleeping Day, it's not a bad idea because we need to get rid of the stigma
Yeah.
of people taking a nap.
As long
I
as
think,
the person comes back from sleep more productive than he was before sleeping, I don't see the problem.
well, I mean, you can't count on that, but at
Yeah.
least they'll be well rested. The funny thing is, so here at my house, my wife loves to take a nap, and on the weekends she'll take a nap,
Mhm.
and then I will not. I'm not a nap taker, right? I'd rather just sleep at night or sleep late in the morning. And I don't like to take naps during the day. I usually always feel worse if
Yeah.
I take a nap.
Even personally, when I was younger, I mean, I'm not so old as well, but yeah, when I was a kid, so I avoided taking afternoon naps because it was then mess up my sleep cycle in the night. So I would just fall asleep
Hmm.
even further later then. And my parents would just give me a good shout to like, why you're not sleeping on time? Because I just slept in the afternoon. How am I supposed to sleep on time?
Mm.
That is how
So
things work.
they would get on you if you didn't go to bed on time. They were trying to get rid of you. It's kind of like your friend on at the beach. They're like, hey, we got to get this kid to bed so we can do what we want to do and not have him hanging around. Do you feel like people are making you go to sleep for reasons that
No,
benefit
that
them
was
more?
that was a one-off incident. I mean, I fell off asleep. Never happened otherwise, though. Yeah.
Now, how come you want to sleep right now? Because I believe,
Eight,
if I'm
11,
wrong, it's almost midnight.
yes. I had scheduled this. So yeah, I'm a fully functional adult now. I can go on my own. Have that, yes. Freedom at least. Some,
Yeah.
but yeah, parents do pester me to sleep on time. You should be sleeping on
Oh, okay.
time.
So then, well, are you a nap taker yourself? I
Not
mean, other than when you're working, I mean, during other
not these
times.
days in office, but on weekends I usually laze around throughout the day. So it's not a matter of I take a nap. It's just the weekend is meant for sleep.
Mhm. Okay. And then, but so then, are you still working the job that you were napping at this point?
No, no, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
went for my
I
post
thought
after that, and then now I'm at a new job now.
I thought maybe you got yourself in trouble there by saying that. Now they're gonna be going back. I'm going, hey, you know, they're
Uh,
gonna get on you. They're gonna be, you owe us a few hours here for this napping.
I
Oh,
did.
well, you owe us an extra hour for napping all week.
No, I never got the complaint. My productivity is always up to the mark, more than the mark usually. So I'd rather not brag.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
The so are you going to because I guess tomorrow is we're recording this on the 27th. Tomorrow is National Sleeping Day. Are you going to take a nap out in the public?
We'll see. I'll have to look for a place where I can.
Well, give me the criteria for a good public napping spot.
Okay. See, the subway is a good place where you can actually go to sleep. If you're taking a 30-minute ride from one place to the other, you'll have a good 10-15 minute slot where you can actually go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay,
consider
subway.
subway a good safe space. At least in India, nothing usually happens on the metro. So
Yeah, that's not the way it is around here.
So they do quite a lot of frisking here before they let anyone on. But either way, you don't get pickpocketed when you sleep. Otherwise, as well, and not on the bus unless I'm on a very long trip on the bus, say
Mhm.
overnight or like 12-hour trip on the bus. I'll take a nap in between because obviously there's nothing else I can do other than listen to songs or watch a series which I don't like to watch on my mobile. I'd rather watch it
Yeah.
bigger screen. So that's what I usually do when I'm on buses.
So you're like you've got plans. You know you've got it all figured out as far as these nap things go. And yours seem to be mostly revolving around mass transit. So you're always like, okay, I got nothing to do. I can't go anywhere. I'm gonna take a nap. I
So
think that's great. Yeah, let's see. I've ridden the. I did not ride the tube in London
hmm,
or the metro in Paris, but I rode in New York and Chicago on the train. And yeah, you probably don't want to go to sleep there too much.
I've seen reels and TikToks of the subway in the US. I would not want to fall asleep there.
You see the one with the rats walking around on people?
I haven't seen that though, but yeah, I get the idea.
Yeah, they're like rats walking around in the subway cars. And then you fall asleep, and then guess what? There's a rat on you.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think it, depending on time of day, it may be better or worse. I think the media sensationalizes that for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
U.S.
Yeah.
But depending on time of day, you probably could get away with it more than at other times. So, at least on a power nap, you certainly couldn't do the California King
Mhm. Yeah.
on the train.
No, 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 that's not possible.
I'm in St. Louis. We actually do have a metro train here. It doesn't go a lot of places, but I don't think I'd fall. I've been on it. I don't think I'd fall asleep on it. It's not that bad, but it's not that great either. So I think somebody would probably be trying to take your wallet
That is a
while
risk.
you were sleeping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I was just curious. about the cat that you. So you call your. I mean, the cat is also called Bob, or is it just?
Yeah, no, this is my video persona,
Uh-huh.
perhaps visual persona that I've been doing. Yeah, there you go. See,
And
look at that. I can raise my eyebrows.
talking about your radio, you call it the static radio. Any specific reason why static radio?
In hindsight, I don't like the name, but back in 1999, I did, and we've been doing it ever since. And so it just is stuck. Now I wish I would have been much more clever in my naming, but it actually started because I did college radio, and we had the static show. Miles and I, who's my co-host, we had the static show on college radio, and it's just kind of carried on from there because we left college, and then we just kept the name because that's what we had back then for whatever reason. So, but now in hindsight, I look back at all these clever names everybody's got, and I'm like, why couldn't I have been much more clever back then?
So just I draw another connection there because me and my brother founded this online store. We called it the Static Store. I don't know if you want to check it sometime, but yeah, when we thought about it, sounded did sound cool and it stick because I mean we coined the catchphrase "dynamic is boring, be static." So it gets into
Oh,
the groove, right? Just to
yeah.
chill out and then it's like that. Now my brother is running it currently because I'm working a different job. Do help him sometimes. So with
I'll check it out. So is it staticstore.com or?
thestaticstore.com if you want to check it out.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, maybe, I mean, how long have you been doing that? How long did you say?
It's been on since early 2022. So it's only been
Oh,
a
okay.
yeah.
I was, if it's older, I was say maybe static was an interesting thing back a decade or so ago, but yours is fairly new. So there you go.
Yeah.
But, but yeah, it's just, I like the static because it has so many different connotations, especially when you combine it with audio.
Mhm.
At the time, we were audio only, and so there's audio as in it's bad audio. There's we basically make fun of each other, which there's kind of a term, give each other static. Is kind of a saying, and so we're kind of giving each other, making each other, uh, you know, making fun of each other. And then, static is in one place. Like you said, don't be dynamic, be static. So it just has a lot of connotations. And I like that aspect of it whenever I originally thought about it. But now, there's so many other clever things out there. I'm like, well, maybe we should have called it something else. But to be honest with you, I don't have another name in my head. So plus I've got the URL,
Yeah, yeah. It's
and
not that works.
you don't want to give it up and start something new.
Yeah. So thanks a lot. I mean, I guess we are on time and it was
We
great
got
chatting.
30 seconds. We got 24 seconds, 22 seconds.
But yeah,
We'll head out right at the minute.
uh, I mean, I'm not so particular about my timings, but yeah, people like to listen in chunks, so that's how I like to keep it. But if you have, probably we could chat another time, some other day,
Oh,
and
sure. Oh, we're over time now. Gotta go over time. No, I'm just joking.
yeah. So I'd like
But yeah, next time, what are we gonna come up with next time? Are you gonna throw another curveball like public sleeping day? Golly gee. What
to surely
what
throw you another curveball, and I'll again find you surprised as to how can this day exist as well. Let's see when that happens next. Um, so till that time, I'd like to thank my listeners for listening, and I'd like to thank Bob for being here with me, sharing such cute stories, funny stories. But yeah, that's how things are with
yeah,
public.
everybody take a nap somewhere outside.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that you take a nap in the middle of the day just to get yourself some good rest. And then if it's a public place, as long as you're safe, just do it. But sure, have a go at it.
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
your clothes on in the public spot and you'll be fine.
Yeah. All right. See you another time. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.